In sports, injuries are going to happen. Most of us can't even walk around without stubbing our toe on a coffee table leg, so how we sit on our couches and yell at some guy who just got landed on by a 300-pound man to stop being a pansy and get up is beyond me. And then there are guys who suffered gruesome injuries and didn't just heal up from them, but in many cases played through them. Today we're going to look at the toughest sons of bitches ever in sports who played through some pretty horrific injuries, with a special guest Bengal who suggested this video topic to me later in the video. You can even give FanDuel as a gift to a friend or even to yourself. Check out the site for details. Number 5, Isaiah Thomas plays on one leg. Basketball is technically a non-contact sport, and despite the lack of intentional contact, the game lends itself to horrific leg and ankle injuries. Most of the time, these painful injuries render a player completely ineffective, but not for Isaiah Thomas, who in the 1988 finals awkwardly twisted his ankle in the third quarter and writhed in pain for a few minutes. It looked like he would come out of the game, but he had other ideas. Instead, he scored 25 third quarter points basically on one leg. You can see him favoring it in each of his shots. Personally, for me, if my ankle got hurt like that, I would probably put ice on it and moan for 2 weeks. Eventually, the Pistons would lose in 7 games, but this was one heroic effort from Thomas, who would go on to ruin the Knicks with both legs beneath him. Number 4, Curt Schilling, the bloody sock. Baseball will probably be mocked here as the sport with the least potential for a horrific injury, though there have been plenty in the sport. But none have been more famous than Curt Schilling and the bloody sock from 2004. Amid an 86-year championship drought, the Red Sox were battling against the Yankees, having brawled back from a 3-0 deficit. Schilling had already torn a tendon in his ankle that was greatly affecting his pitching as he got shelled in Game 1. Team doctor Bill Morgan tried a new procedure to essentially stitch Schilling's tendon to his ankle, an operation that had never been done before. Morgan tried it on a dead body first, to see if it would work. This was done a day before Game 6, and with his bloody sock showing, Schilling went out on the mound and tossed 7 innings, gave up only 4 hits and 1 earned run as the Sox won Game 6 and then of course went on to win the World Series. Some thought the sock was fake. Okay, sure. Number 3, Ian Lapierre takes a slap shot to the face. Hockey has pretty much an unlimited stable of badasses getting injured in ways that would kill most people and then having said players return to the ice and, score in the Stanley Cup Finals. And though there are so many incidents to list, this one in particular stood out to me. In 2009, against the Buffalo Sabres, Ian Lapierre of the Flyers took a laser beam shot right to his freaking mouth. Apparently, he lost 7 teeth in this incident and suffered a broken face. No shit. Lapierre was like, hey, put those teeth in a bag and give me one of those special helmets. And that's what he did, returning in the third period and pretty much acting like nothing ever happened. Damn, that's a tough SOB. I eat too much of my kids' Halloween candy and I reach for the Anbesol for my achy little toofy. About a month later, Lapierre would get hit again in the face by a puck, but that one would sideline him for a month. Terrible luck, bro. And now for my special guest Bengal, please check out his channel from the link below after he tells you about the number 2.
How about Steve DeBerg, quarterback journeyman who would end up on the Kansas City Chiefs and in a mid-December regular season game versus the Oilers would suffer a terrible injury to his non-throwing hand that doctors told him that if he had been a farmer, they would have cut it off. Instead, they jammed a metal pin that stuck a 1/4 inch out of his finger with a giant engulfing polypropylene cast, and the tough son of a gun would still go 44 or 59 through the air for 527 yards and 2 TDs in 2 playoff victories in the following weeks before eventually going down to the 1990 Dan Marino Miami Dolphins. But Steve DeBerg, regardless, one tough SOB.
Thanks, Bengal. And before I get into the number 1, here are a few previously not mentioned moments of badassery. Jack Youngblood of the Rams breaking his leg during a playoff game and continuing to play. Willis Reed inspiring his team to a championship. Tiger Woods winning the Open on a torn ACL. And Big Ben, too many to list. Number 1, Ronnie Lott. Few athletes are synonymous with toughness like Ronnie Lott is. Likely the greatest defensive back in history, he has a rap sheet of holy crap tough guy moments almost too long to list. And of course, the pinky incident tops them all. In 1985, late in the season, Lott was involved in such a gruesome hit that parts of his pinky finger were sheared off. It's alleged that they were left right there on the field. Now, instead of doing what I would do, which is probably crying in a corner and requesting my mother to come comfort me with boo-boo sauce, Lott simply taped up his hand and finished the game and the season like this. During the offseason, he was given the opportunity of having the finger surgically repaired with a lengthy recovery or having his finger amputated. I guess he was like, well, this finger's already ruined, chop that shit off. And he did, and played 6 more years in the NFL. Lott has expressed regret in having the finger removed, probably because he can't be dainty at tea parties now without it. Lott would win a total of 4 Super Bowl rings and the title of most badass MFer in the history of badass MFers, and it's not even close, save for this Don Fry fight. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to both myself and Bengal, who I will link below and in the end screen. Also, don't forget to use my code Touchdown87 in the FanDuel app and get your free entry into the NFL Sunday Millions contest with your first deposit. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you toughed it out and made it to the end of this video. Someone book me a mani-pedi. My eyes hurt.